very first characters and craving video where I will be talking about characters that I've read in books and how I relate to them and how I think they relate to me in my life while I snack. That's the cravings part in characters and cravings. Sorry, that's a funny joke that you'll get later. So today I have strawberries, I have some low-carb cookies, Baby Bells, and pecorino cheese. If you cannot guess what book we're going to be talking about today from the snacks, we are going to be talking about Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, specifically Elsie Hannaway. The reason why I picked Elsie Hannaway is because she is diabetic, and currently I am also diabetic, but different kinds of diabetes. She's always going to be diabetic, whereas hopefully by the time this baby comes out of me, I will no longer be diabetic. I'm just praying for that. So if you are a fellow reader and you love to just talk about books, you love to talk about the characters you read, then this is definitely the place for you. If you are a first-time mom, second-time mom, currently pregnant, diabetic, then this is also the place for you. I am more than happy to discuss books with anybody as long as you are a kind and lovely person. So let me try some of these snacks first. Strawberries, very low GI index. I hate eating in front of people. I get very self-conscious. Strawberries good. These are salted egg yolk seaweed chips. These are not in the book, but I love them. They're the closest thing I'm ever going to be able to get to chips during this pregnancy. If you remember from Love Theoretically, Elsie loves eating cheese, and specifically she talks about Baby Bells and Pecorino Romano. Both of these are cheeses that I can safely eat. The only cheeses that I'm not allowed to eat are soft, unpasteurized cheeses. Cheese is just fat, so it's a very good gestational or just diabetes in general snack. Like I said, Elsie and I both have diabetes, which is why I've prepared all these snacks to really get into the Elsie Hannaway mindset before I start talking about her. Gestational diabetes is a really tough disease to manage, just to work around. There isn't a single pill I can take and it'll just magically keep my blood sugar levels at the right place all day. Every week that my placenta grows, my insulin needs change. One day I will only need 6 units of insulin for a meal, and then the next week I'll need double that. And yes, that has already happened to me. The way I take insulin is with a needle, and I also have to check my blood sugars 2 hours after every meal. So it's a lot. When you already have so many things out of your control, like being pregnant, I can't sit in a hot tub, I can't play contact sports, but eating has always been something that I can control, something that I get to choose. I also eat when I'm stressed, I eat when I'm happy. I basically eat for any kind of heightened emotional response. And having gestational diabetes, it messes with your head, it messes with my head. I also have to give myself insulin with almost every meal, and with all of that going on, the insulin needle is kind of like the straw that broke the pregnant camel's back. Elsie's not pregnant, but she's also got a lot of things out of her control. She's diabetic, she's working as an adjunct professor, she's not really able to work on her paper on liquid crystals, and I just like to imagine that she feels kind of like how I feel, a little helpless, frustrated, and just fed up with everything all the time. This is what I love about reading. I can relate to them. I can see their reactions and hope that their problems are similar enough to mine that I can kind of implement the same solutions. For Elsie, anyways, her resilience and her perseverance in the face of everything she is feeling, it's inspiring, and that's why I really enjoyed reading it. And of course, the smut is also a fun bonus as well. It gives me a little bit of hope whenever I have to pass on eating a croissant because my stupid pancreas isn't working the way it's supposed to. Another thing is being a stay-at-home mom, it's a lot of cleaning, and it's taking care of my family and taking care of myself. And relating to these characters, I get to live in somebody's life for just a little bit. And I know that's probably the same for a lot of you. Living in somebody else's world takes you out of reality. It helps. It helps with my day-to-day. In the book, Elsie is described as a people pleaser. She'll say and do whatever as long as it makes the other person happy and feel better. I think we all kind of do this in a way. Like, I don't talk to my husband the same way I talk to my friends, and I definitely don't talk to my child the same way, right? I kind of change my tone of voice. I change a little bit of my personality even to fit the person that I am talking to. I basically try to be the version that fits in with the people that I am with at any given time. So Elsie calls this code switching, and I thought that was really interesting because this is a term that I learned in university studying linguistics. Basically, it just, for what I learned anyways, was when someone switches between languages, right? Like for me, I speak English and Mandarin, and I oftentimes speak Chinglish, which is like a combination of English and Mandarin, and that can be considered code switching. But in Elsie's case, you see her switch between personalities. She goes from a pun-loving Elsie to a relatable Elsie to a perfect daughter Elsie. Elsie does it because she thinks that it's the only way that people will value her, that people will like her. And this is just so relatable. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody has this innate desire to be liked. It doesn't matter if you're at work or with your friends or with your family. You want to be liked. Being liked is nice. Personally, I want to be the perfect mom. I want to be the perfect wife. I want to be the perfect friend. And I am very willing to do whatever it takes to achieve that. I can't help but wonder if in doing that, I've kind of lost a piece of myself a little bit. If you've been on my Instagram, you'll know that I've started working. Actually, no, I'm more than just started. I've actually almost finished working on this secret project. And this is something that I've technically been passionate about since I was a teenager. And I didn't start taking it seriously until now because I was worried about what other people would think. I was worried people would think it would be cringy, it would be bad. Another big part is I worry that if I pursue this passion project, am I gonna have less time for my family? In the book, Elsie, she tries her best to be there for her family, and they kind of take advantage of her. And that's not my situation at all. My family's very supportive, but internally, I don't want this to take away from the time I already spend with them. I spend a lot of time with my son, and I don't want anything to change that. And I don't want to fall short of the expectations of the people that are most important to me. Look at Elsie, for example. Like, she thought so much about her mom's expectations. It took up so much mental real estate. And even though her mom was definitely taking advantage of her kindness, she just didn't want to let her mom down. That is me. I do not want to let anybody down by pursuing what I want. And I don't want anyone thinking of me in a negative way because I'm going after what I want. And I know there are so many things to consider here. Like I said, we want to be liked. We are wired to be liked. And from an evolutionary standpoint, it's because safety in numbers. If you're part of a bigger group, you're just naturally going to be safer. And we are social creatures. We need that connection. We want to connect with people. We want validation. We like it. We enjoy it. It's even been shown that being liked at work gives you increased opportunities. That's basically what networking is about. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be liked, is basically what I am saying. But I do have to wonder, like, what is the line between want and need? Because I think Elsie's desire to be liked, it gets to a point where it's stressful, having to juggle all of these different personalities. And I also wonder, did my need, oh gosh, I hate saying that because need makes it sound like I have no control over it. But am I like Elsie in the sense, like, did my need for wanting to be liked delay this potential future that I really, really wanted, this potential career that I could have already been doing all this time, but I just kept putting off because of what other people think? The Pecorino Romano is something Elsie talks about a lot in the book. It's a very heavy cheese. Yeah, it goes really good with strawberry. I wish I could eat cured meats like salami or, oh god, some pepperoni would sound so good. But I cannot. So strawberries it is. Still good though. So with Elsie juggling with all of these different personalities, she's also hiding her real self. And hiding your personality to fit in is something that I am also guilty of doing. I've changed a lot over the years, and it's embarrassing to admit that the early versions of myself, let's use the word versions because that's what Elsie uses. The early versions of myself are so cringy. They were not great. I don't like the person I was when I was younger. So then when I finally became the best version of me, which I think is right now, I think my current state is the best version of me, I am still constantly worried that it's not good enough. Am I too loud? Am I too annoying? Am I too obnoxious? Basically, anything I can't really control, I worry that people hate that part of me, because if I can't control it, then I'm just a little hopeless. So a really good example of this is Elsie pretends to like these movies that her roommate really likes, even though Elsie loves Twilight. I also love Twilight, okay? I think it's iconic. I watch it at least once a year. But her roommate obviously likes these, for a lack of a better word, artsy fartsy movies like 2001 Space Odyssey and Nosferatu. And I've definitely said a few white lies to my friends to give them the impression that I like the same things that they like. Friends, if you are watching this right now, I promise that I didn't just do them because you like them. And it's not even that I hated them. It's just that it's easier to go along with what everyone else is doing, to be that like easygoing person, because nobody hates the easygoing person. Is this a bad habit, or is this just a practice in preserving social peace? Please let me know if this is something that you do, so I don't feel like an idiot blathering the secrets of my personality on the internet. Something else I really want to talk about is imposter syndrome. You kind of see this in the book. I definitely saw it. Elsie, she's an adjunct professor. She has a PhD. How can she possibly feel like an imposter? But everyone around her says, oh, I'm so surprised that you're not already in a research position. She kind of plays it off. She jokes about it. But I think in her head, she can't believe that anybody would want her in a professional capacity. This top secret project of mine that I am working on, it's something that goes all the way back to high school. And I remember 16-year-old me dreaming about this job and potentially becoming this person one day. And when I got to university, when I finished university, I picked something a little more practical because I just didn't think that I'd be able to pursue it as a career. Now that I'm actually doing it, I feel a sense of imposter syndrome. Who do I think I am? I have no experience in doing this. I didn't study it. I'm always questioning myself. And that's not a good place to be. Can you imagine being a surgeon in the middle of an operating room and questioning yourself? Oh, should I be doing this? Am I doing this right? No, obviously not. So I think that's why I get such bad imposter syndrome. When you're married and you have kids, you kind of feel like you're at the middle part of your life journey. You should already have everything else figured out. You're an adult, you have kids. You feel like it's too late to start anything new. The next part is a little harder for me to talk about, so I'm gonna take a little snack break. These cookies are so good. Per, I think 2 or 3 cookies, it's only net 2 carbs, which is so great for people who are diabetic. If you want the exact name with the exact net carbs, it's on my Instagram. I did make a post about it. Fun fact about gestational diabetes and being pregnant in general, you are encouraged to snack. You are not encouraged to eat these giant meals. Have a meal, have 2 snacks in between even. I mean, do I wish that these strawberries were chili fries instead? Yeah, a little bit, but I'm at that point in gestational diabetes where I'm no longer picky and I will eat whatever I can get my hands on. I want to talk a little bit more about how I didn't like who I was when I was younger. I did not like the previous versions of myself. And I think because the previous version of myself had this very idealized version of their future, they had a big dream that I subconsciously repressed the memory of that version of myself, including the dream that person had. It's unfortunate because yes, this previous version of myself was cringy and embarrassing, not very nice to their friends, all these terrible things. But at the end of the day, she had a really great dream, and I kind of kicked myself for forgetting that, for jumbling that all up into one big thing instead of just taking the good parts of that version and doing something with it. That's what I was thinking of when Elsie was talking about her ex. She let a breakup ruin her future. She couldn't get into her program. She needed to rely on her mentor, and that's a whole other thing. But nothing like a first love to scar you for life, eh? For Elsie, she let that affect her in a way where she stopped trying to find love. She stopped trying to find a real relationship where she could be herself. And for me, I kind of just quietly accepted that my life needed to be practical, that I needed to do all these practical things because young me was too much of a dreamer and she screwed up a lot of relationships and opportunities. I stopped trying. I stopped dreaming, and that's not what living is about. That's definitely not what I read. When I read, I see the characters living their best lives or living out their dreams, and I shouldn't restrict that to a book. I shouldn't just be able to experience that through a book. I was saying earlier how reading is kind of like an escape, but it shouldn't be. I am letting the books I read inspire me. I'm letting them actually make an impact on my life. And the characters that I read about, they're all versions of me that I want to become. Not necessarily changing my whole personality so another person will like me, but again, picking out the best parts of that character and letting it influence me so that I can be a better version for myself and not anybody else. So Elsie, she clearly has a lot of issues in the book, but what I really, really love about her is how steadfast she is. She never gives up. She was broke, abysmal love life. She has diabetes, but she never gave up on her liquid crystals project. She worked on it every spare minute she could, and that's what I want. And for myself, not for anybody else. I want to be so passionate about something that I believe in it 100%, even when there are all these other people trying to bring me down. Remember Elsie, she's giving that presentation to all these college students about theoretical physics, and all the students in the audience were experimental physicists, and she had everybody in that room rooting against her. There was not a single person there that wanted to support her in that moment, but she still gave a great lecture. She didn't let anything faze her. Granted, she pulled another personality out to do it, but it came from a place where she never doubted that she wanted to be a theoretical physicist. And to know 100% with absolute certainty that that's something you want, it's just admirable. And that's something I want for myself. And if I could, I would thank Elsie for bringing that part out in me. Okay, so that is the end of my first video. I'm hoping to do more character cravings. I am still pregnant for the next 2 months. I'm hoping to create as much content as I can in that time. I love to hear everyone else's opinions on Elsie Hannaway if you have them. I love to read. I think I've made that very clear. And that does not exclude people's thoughts. I think that's what we do best, is connect. That's what this is all for, is to connect. So if there's something you want to say about Elsie Hannaway and your own life, I really, really want to hear it. Please let me know. Okay, well, last snack of the day. Actually, no, I'm gonna finish everything on this tray while I go over all my editing stuff. So thank you for listening today, and I hope you will join me next time as well. Bye.